The park's closed. I'll have to ask you to leave. What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Here's Johnny.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a creepy, spooky episode of the Underground Filmmakers Podcast. I'm your co-host, Cole Johnson, and I'm your other co-host, Ethan Winslet. And, ladies and gentlemen, we are not the only two people in this tiny little room today. We have a third man.
My name's Braden Miller. I'm a special guest on this show. It's very nice to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
That is our friend Braden.
Hello, Braden.
Hello. Would you like to tell the people who you are, Braden Miller?
I'm just an old, long-time friend and someone who's always come on set and just, helped film and everything and helped write. And
One of the crew,
yeah, since the beginning. And I guess just one of the bros.
Oh yeah. When it was time to kind of figure out what we're doing in life, Ethan and I branched to filmmaking, and Braden's gone towards the direction of music.
I've been going towards music. I learned guitar when I was 8, so since then it's just been 10 years.
Well, heck yeah. Just been 10 years. It's been 10 years. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing another segment of the next Blockbuster. But before we do that, Braden, I have a few questions to ask you.
What's up?
What's your favorite on-set experience that you've had?
Oh my. There's so many. Good Lord. There's been so many that we've done. Probably trying to think of the funniest one that's been on set.
I mean, there's so many.
There's so many. It's not even like you can't really even name one. I don't know. The most recent one was what was the most recent one that I
We did The Masterpiece.
Yep,
The Masterpiece.
with the big falcon, the 3-dimensional falcon
yes!
that took like literally a week.
Yeah. No, that was I think probably my favorite time in all of that was when we were all just consecutively losing our minds. We were just like all of us at the same time just started losing it and doing the weirdest stuff. If you go watch the behind the scenes, you can clearly see it like at the beginning of the behind the scenes. It's like totally fun. It's like, all right, so here's a strategy for our filmmaking. Here's how we're going to do, and here's how we're going to execute everything that we're trying to film. And then at the very end, everybody's just like,
If you want a reference of what he's talking about, you can go to War Torn Productions on YouTube. And Braden, I have one more question. What's your top 3 favorite films of all time?
oh gosh, probably Lawless is up there.
Oh yeah.
Perks of Being a Wallflower, and then I don't know, Children of Men's got me hooked.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Ever since you mentioned Children of Men, I've
Yep.
watched that over and over and over again.
All right.
Fantastic movie.
Well, there it is. We're gonna get started. Ethan.
Yep.
Do you want to tell the good people of the universe what we are doing today?
Okay, so as y'all saw before, when we came up with the man script,
The man.
so we are going to sit down for a whole hour and try to come up with a feature-length script, screenplay idea for a new topic. We have an hour to do it. Can we do it? I believe we can.
We're actually going to limit ourselves to an hour this time.
I think we could do it.
And again, just to piggyback off the last episode, we get this idea from the Story Break podcast done by the Rocket Jump guys. So if you want to, go check them out. But we're going to get started. So what we are doing today is it's kind of an inside joke / concept character that we came up with a long time ago. And we call it the WERETURKEY. Ethan, or somebody, where did the WERETURKEY originate from? Because I actually don't remember.
Okay, so basically we were like, was it fall break, spring break, somewhere back in high school, maybe junior, sophomore year-ish, kind of in that area. So actually it started, I was back there one day, and I think that I mentioned like a weird track that I had seen, and it was like I'd never seen a track like that before. And then I saw something in the woods, but it kind of freaked me out, but I didn't really think about it. I told y'all about it, I think, at one point.
Yeah, just a little bit of backstory.
most of our fall breaks and spring break would just like consist of us camping right by our houses.
Yeah, like it was totally roughing it too, because it was like a whole week. Like this is gonna sound super like millennial, but no phones. Couldn't drive anywhere. Yeah. We walked, we fished so that we could eat. Like of course, all the food that we bought was
we'd ration out stuff.
Day. So
we ration out stuff and then ate it all in one night before. That was great. So we had seen the track before, but then we ended up all going and camping out on one of these nights, spring break. And so Eric was delirious because he had not slept in several days, because the previous night he had crashed in a kayak in the water, and it was like 20 degrees outside. He had to run with a kayak over his head naked through the woods back to the campsite.
What was awesome was that like there was a waterfall that we were gonna go down, and we were like, Eric, whatever you do, don't go down the left. And of course he's like, all right, goes straight down the left.
Yep.
Kayak goes like straight vertically into the water, and then we have to fish him and the kayak out, drain it, and then all I see is Eric running away off into the distance with the sun setting behind him in his cowboy underpants. Yep. And he's got the kayak over his head, jogging back, and as soon as we get back, he's sitting there with like a tin cup in his hands, freezing.
Yep. Because I had to go back and start the fire. I felt like such a burden was on my shoulders. I was like, oh my gosh, this man's about to die. The only thing that can
fire Bear Grylls style.
Oh, yeah, Bear Grylls. We're in the lost forest of Warriors, New York. No, but I went back and started a fire with like a piece of plastic and a lighter, and it turned into like the booming most beast of a fire that's ever been.
It was a bonfire.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah,
and then so basically it was like he was delirious because he had not slept, and we had convinced Eric, because of the tracks that were near our camping ground. It's like, keep in mind, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning.
What did these tracks look like?
Okay, the tracks, it was almost like a cat paw, but from the cat paw had talons like a turkey, and it also had the spike on the back of it.
Yeah.
It was strange, and it was huge. It was 4 or 5 inches in diameter, I would say.
What was awesome is Eric believed this so much that, like, we even told him, there was at one point he was like, yeah, like if you pee on your territory, like coyotes won't come around. I wonder if that's like the same thing. He was into it so much. Yeah. He like made an entire pea circle around our campsite.
The lore of the WERETURKEY.
The lore of the WERETURKEY. So that's pretty much how it came to be. We kind of scared him with the WERETURKEY idea. I told him that I'd seen it in the woods and that I'd seen the tracks before. And so that's kind of how it sprung to be.
So just based off those tracks, you just like created the name WERETURKEY.
Yeah, because like
just to freak him out.
I don't even know why.
Okay, that's where it came from. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to make a feature-length film idea based on the WERETURKEY within 1 hour. Are you ready, boys?
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
Timer starts now.
I have a possible origin story idea.
Okay.
And it's based on werewolves. So, okay, first of all, the WERETURKEY, is he half werewolf, half turkey, half man? Wait, that is
1/3 of each?
Yes, 1/3 of each.
Yeah.
Oh. So would he have to be turned into a werewolf and then bit by a turkey?
Well, okay, because a werewolf's part man, part wolf.
Yeah.
So then we could just like throw in he's also part turkey.
Okay, that works.
Right. Okay.
Well, that would explain kind of why he had kind of the weird cat paw.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So we have a parallel dimension,
okay,
right, where all these monsters throughout the mythological history, so vampires, werewolves. What are some more?
Zombies, Frankenstein,
ghouls.
Yeah, ghouls. Where all these monsters reside, right? But how they have seeped into our dimension is that instead of sending people to prison in their dimension, like let's say if a vampire does something bad or a werewolf does something bad, they cast them into our dimension.
Oh, that makes sense though because all the ones that we know are bad. Exactly. But that doesn't mean that. I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this werewolf got sent to our dimension because he was a bad boy. But or maybe because no one liked him. Maybe he was like the absolute loser of that dimension. They're like, you're good for nothing. You suck. You
sent
suck.
to exile.
Yeah, he was exiled because he just was a terrible werewolf being. And so when he got to Earth, you know, in his human form, he also sucked. So he's cast out. So what I'm trying to get at is he was led to fornicate with a turkey.
I almost spit all the water out of my mouth.
Okay, it makes sense though. Okay, so there's no like since they're from another dimension, there's no like biological reasoning, right?
Yeah,
and so no human likes him, no wolf likes him. So he's like, okay, I got it. That's a good looking turkey. They got a good looking. What are those, like gibblers, goblets?
Wait, a gizzard?
Gizzards.
A gizzard? Yeah, you got some good looking giblets on ya.
So you're telling me? Okay, now first of all, I'm trying to keep it PG-13 here because Cole just dropped an R-bomb on this place. But this is what I'm saying. Now, did he do this fornication as a werewolf, as in his human form, or did he do this fornication in his wolf form? That's what I'm wondering.
It's like all you see is just like him, and there's what?
You're shaking.
I'm not shaking at all.
You're shaking the table.
I'm not shaking at all.
I heard it.
You just see him like holding the turkey's hand as it's going into birth. It's just like.
Okay, this is just like the origin story, how the WERETURKEY came to be. I don't know if it actually matters. If he fornicated while being a werewolf, or while being a wolf or a human, but the point is, he was cast out. This guy, the father of the WERETURKEY, was an exile of all beings. He did not fit in any universe. So he fornicated with a turkey.
So wait. So, because he fornicated with a turkey, does that mean the turkey changed him? Or does that mean his child was the WERETURKEY?
No, his child was the WERETURKEY.
Okay.
So this is basically just like how the WERETURKEY comes to be.
Okay.
And
It just comes out just.
but see, with the WERETURKEY, you see, okay. It could be like when you're cast into our dimension. So when these monsters are cast in our dimension, it's basically like they have an opportunity for parole, but their version of parole is being let back in to that dimension, right? And so now that there's a WERETURKEY on Earth, he can't go back into that dimension. You see what I'm saying? He is a freak. He would not be allowed back in because he is a WERETURKEY. So he causes havoc on all of Earth because he's not accepted anywhere, and he's an outcast of all dimensions.
Well, that's incredible.
It's something.
It's definitely something.
It's definitely something. That's where my mind went to.
There's only one WERETURKEY in the world because he can't mate with any other.
Yeah, he's the only WERETURKEY.
It's like a mule. Like, you know how mules can't mate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like a donkey and a horse.
Yeah.
So it's like a mule, so he can't reproduce either.
Or a liger.
So.
Or a platypus.
Yeah. So, did you guys want to run with that origin story and figure out the havoc that this WERETURKEY causes? Because I feel like we should fall into the genre of horror on this one. Maybe it can be comedic, but
like Sharknado, like
something like that, but not stupid.
Yeah, no, not stupid.
But it's gonna. I mean,
funny, scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like dude, we have to make it like Cabin in the Woods. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have seen that movie. That's a great movie.
Make it like that, like ridiculously funny, but like also kind of creepy.
Yes. Okay. So who does this WERETURKEY cast his havoc on or whatever? I mean, we could. I mean, we should try to deviate away from the just classic trope of some people go out in the middle of the woods, camp, and then all of a sudden a WERETURKEY comes.
That's all. It's like you've been marked by the WERETURKEY.
He marks his victim.
Or maybe, since he can't be accepted in either dimension, maybe. No, that just goes completely against what we just said, that how he can't mate with anyone. I was going to say he tries to make his own race of WERETURKEYs. Or maybe he can only mate with turkeys. But don't know what's going on.
That's awesome.
Okay, what does a WERETURKEY look like? First of all,
Oh yeah.
First and
we need
foremost,
to kinda
let's establish that.
Okay, so I've never really imagined it, but I did see something in the woods that day, and I can only describe what I've been seeing with my own eyes.
Was it an alien?
No, it was a
WERETURKEY. Know your mythos, bro.
Okay, it was kind of weird because it kind of looked like a wolf. Honestly, it kind of looked like a big wolf, but also was made of feathers. So it was like, and it had a tail with feathers. So it was like a wolf. I mean, it literally just looked like exactly what you'd think. That's why I said it was a WERETURKEY, because
did it have a gizzard?
I didn't see the front end. I only saw the end.
But did it have
Let's make it have a gizzard, like a
did it have a
wolf
turkey
snap.
head, or did it have a?
Ooh. I don't know, but it would be hilarious if it was like, okay, it has 4 legs, right?
Okay.
But on the end of the legs, it has, instead of hair, okay, all of its hair, replace it with feathers. Bing! There it is. It's in your mind. Okay? Now, instead of a regular wolf tail, it has like one of those turkey tails that kind
It's
of
like
fans up.
like the peacock looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, halfway down its leg, the feathers stop and the red, weird skinny calves claws look, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like wolf, stout, top half arm, skinny calf, pat legs. So like really tiny legs. So it's not fast. At all.
Can it fly?
I mean, turkeys can barely fly. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Probably
like,
not. Okay.
Let's say I'm just saying like could they do they have wings?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So let's say that it can like jump, it can climb, right? I don't know how, but it can climb. And it can fly, but it can't fly
Oh,
up.
it uses the talons to climb.
That'll work, yeah.
That could work.
It can't fly up though. You know? It can't.
It can only
Only like
only
horizontally.
glide,
Yeah.
because that's how turkeys are. Turkeys can only glide.
I think turkeys can fly up. I've seen them fly up before.
They can only get like so high though.
Yeah, they
it's
can't
kind of
go
like a
super high.
jump, and then they like help themselves up with their wings, and then they get like so high, and then they come down.
So kind of, yeah. But less than that. Like they can't even get up because they're so heavy, right? The only thing they can do is jump off a tree and then just glide down.
Oh, what if it? Okay, you know how like a griffin looks. What if it had like turkey wings, like a griffin, instead of like long majestic wings? It's just like
That noise.
So basically, this creature just sucks. like he's not good at anything. Like he just like his like only advantage that he has
we
that
should, like, make it to
wolves
where-
and turkeys don't have is
should
he can
make it-
climb.
Yeah.
yeah, we should make it to where it's like a predator, but it can't. It's so bad at everything that it's never caught anything before.
Yeah, it like tries its hardest to like, its dream is to be an actual monster.
Like by the end of the
Oh, that's
film,
good.
But
yeah.
he can't.
Like by
because
the
he's
end of
like,
the
he
film,
tries.
we're rooting for it to kill something,
Yeah.
and then like at the very end, it just like gets. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I do like he's trying to be a monster.
Yep.
But
He's
okay,
following
so
his
his
like laugh stock.
His arc, yeah, he's like a laughing stock. And okay, at the end of the movie, he could come to a realization that you shouldn't be a monster. You should be a good person.
And then he dies of starvation. Because he's never caught anything. He just can't kill anything. It's like,
The result of being a good person is starvation.
And ultimately death. So, all right. So does this guy change from his WERETURKEY form to human?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So let's establish who his human, like what his human identity is like.
Okay.
So we can actually get a grasp on his character a little bit. But I think he should just kind of be like your typical outcast, maybe very socially anxious, and he just works like as a dishwasher.
he could be, yeah. He could be kind of like, you ever seen, there was some sort of movie or something like that depicted this guy that's basically a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
But most sociopaths are like really intelligent and you never know that they're a sociopath. And like they manipulate people and stuff like that. So, but have you ever seen the movie that's contrasted to that, where it's like the dude wants to kill people, but he can't cover it? Like he's so full of hate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like this weird awkward state where he's also like socially awkward and he never does anything to do anything about it.
Or maybe this dude isn't actually a wereturkey. But he's a sociopath that thinks he's a wereturkey. I think we might be just making it a little too complicated. Like, I think he's just a monster. And this is like Jaws or something like that. And like there's like a town or something like that that's like divided. And like at the end, this monster, having to defeat this monster or cast away this monster, brings them together. Or maybe they find out that this wereturkey, like we've said, is actually like a harmless creature, but they have like imposed on his territory or something like that to make him angry. And at the end, monster goes off and does what monsters do by himself, but they realize that he's actually good. Or maybe they coincide, but it brings the town together at the end. Just a monster movie.
Just a monster movie.
Just a monster movie, yeah. I think, because a wereturkey is a ridiculous concept.
Yeah.
So trying to make something too serious about it, it's just gonna frick us in the head.
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
But our minds are just so freaking elaborate that it's just like you have to reel yourself back in. So Monster Mash.
Yes. So we're doing a little monster mash, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
could do it like just how we had seen it, like a few kids go hiking in the woods or like go camping.
Literally what you said not to do.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Sorry, I hit the mic.
my bad. I didn't
No,
know you
he
said
was
that.
like, let's not do it traditional, like classic kids go out in the woods and they get wrecked by a
I didn't.
wereturkey.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
So are we sticking with the dimension? Right? Right?
I think so.
Okay.
We don't necessarily have to reveal its backstory, or maybe we could, like, some like conspiracy, like lunatic guys, like everyone's like, how did a wereturkey come into existence? He's like, I know exactly how it came into existence.
This dude who's like, yeah, it could be like some guy.
Oh no, he's like a vampire slayer and a werewolf hunter. He has like silver bullets and like wooden stakes hanging on his wall and stuff.
Yeah, this could be like, okay, the wereturkey clearly is not our protagonist, but
No.
the only guy that knows about a wereturkey is our protagonist. And we follow him through his journey on taking down the only wereturkey in existence.
Mm-hmm.
Despite everyone thinking he's psycho.
Yeah.
Because who's going to believe? Because it's like laughingstock, like you said, like a wereturkey. Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
But it could be like a ferocious beast.
I think we might have to like figure out some like, maybe he's a supporting character and we have like two like naive characters who don't really know like what's going on, and this guy basically has to kind of like guide them through the journey. So he's kind of like that information bank that's like guiding them through the journey, but they begin oblivious. Yeah. And he's like that like guy with a beard and eye patch or whatever, and it's just like
He's like been through some hunting.
yeah, he like lives in a cabin in the woods. He's like 15 miles away from where the wereturkey lives. He's like I see him all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
what if he's crazy and you don't really reveal that?
or he's the wereturkey.
Or he's the wereturkey. That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy, dude.
Dude.
That'd be awesome. Like,
Because
he's
it could
crazy
be
when
like
he
it could
sees
set up
or-
it could set up okay, like just a relationship, just classic college, like boyfriend, girlfriend. He's
Okay.
about to propose.
Okay.
And then
that.
like he brings her out to like a special place and it's like really nice.
Yeah.
Has a projector.
This like it's kind of okay. Yeah, it's like college students and they're getting married. This is kind of like a small town that like used to be a super nice resort, but over the years it's kind of deteriorated and not a lot of people still go there. But they, poor college students, they decide that they want to go there because like they're on a budget like somebody like directed them towards it, or maybe their parents were like, oh yeah, we went there 20 years ago. It's great. And they're like,
you get there now.
Sick.
It's like vacation.
Yeah, and then they get there and it's just like this like Scooby-Doo-esque like type like place, like that type atmosphere, something like that.
I like that.
But I do like like maybe a couple who is getting married, and that's like that kind of gives us another stakes. Like he's got to propose. No. Like this, did you say honeymoon or he's got to propose?
I was gonna say propose.
I like that better. Sorry, my mind went to honeymoon, but yes, propose. Let's do that.
So I was thinking, because like playing into the fact, if we wanted to do the hunter is the wereturkey, it could be because he has all knowledge about it. I mean, it's himself.
Yeah,
But he
exactly.
manipulates people to trust him so he can manipulate them, because his love and his lust is towards manipulation. That's what he thrives on, right? So the WERETURKEY could attack them on proposal, right? Mm-hmm. And they could be, I don't know, somewhere in that town, somewhat secluded or something like that. And then, they're running away from it, and then he's just like appears, and he's like he acts like he's the hero, and he always disappears when the WERETURKEY comes, like he's going to hunt it. So you never see him at the same place at the same time. You only hear things, and he has like little things to set off in the woods to make noises and stuff, or to scare them, so that he can pretend like it's real.
Yeah, that's good. And maybe he has like kind of the town like petrified. So like when they get to the town, like everyone's off. You know what I'm saying? It's like a really like off atmosphere.
Yeah, it's like it's as it gets dark, everyone starts to go inside.
Yeah, exactly.
And like nobody talks to each other.
And like his vision of the proposal was like on top of a mountain, like under the moonlight, like all this stuff. So he like plotted out like a perfect like full moon night. Like he has like the moon calendar and everything. It's like this is the night. But they link up with this guy who's like, apparently he's like the tour guide of the town. Like he knows every little single crevice of this town, and they basically hire him to take them on top of this mountain so he can propose. But along the way, then when they get to the top or something, they see the WERETURKEY. Yeah.
Like on the way, they could be in the car, and then like, oh dude, I could see some cool scenes. Like they're just, they're like, he's like, where are you taking me? He's like, oh, you'll see, they're all over each other, giving each other a kiss and stuff like that.
And you got that, like, you got that really weird taxi cab driver or whatever.
And he's just like driving. Okay. And then all of a sudden,
it's like, sir, it's like, sir, can you tell us how long we have until our destination? It's just like, turns around, looks at them, doesn't say a word, turns around, looks back at the road.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
So he's driving, and we feel the emotion build up between the couple, and it seems like all pretty man, no one cares. So all of a sudden you just see a full-sized tree get slung into the road in front of the car, hits the car, like breaks them off, and it throws the proposal into a downward spiral. Like she starts screaming, he's looking around, he's like, what was that? And only they didn't see the tree come in. It was just the audience and the dude. And he immediately gets up. He's like, you guys stay. He like rips open the door, goes to his like, pops open the back of the truck. Has like all these guns and weapons, gets it out. She's terrified. He's terrified.
Oh, no. He comes out with the rifle, but you can see like the bullet in his hand, and it's silver, and he puts it in and cocks it. Dude, that'd be sick. And they're like,
dude.
It's like, and like it's not like they don't notice it, but the audience knows it. And like silver bullet, it's like, holy crap.
What's going on? Sick. He's like, yeah. And then, and he's just like, he looks at him, he's like, are you a man? Because he's screaming. He's like, what are you talking? He's like, get up. He hands him some sort of weapon. He's like, you stay behind me and you don't move. And he's like, you protect your woman. And then he's like, I've been hunting this some for like 10 years. And he just like, come out. And like he has all these like things where maybe like some things that he knows that attracts him. And he said, again, in the woods, like it could be this really suspenseful, you hear like,
he's got like a plate of mashed potatoes and throws it. Just a turkey.
Yeah, mashed potatoes. He's like, come out. He's like looking around. It's all no music, nothing. You just hear the cicadas in the background. Just a little movement here and there. He's looking around, and then like it builds up, and then he just like fires around into the ground. He's like it starts coming closer to him. And you don't see it, but he's like manipulating. It has like things on timers to go off and do things. And it's like it's coming closer and it gets more intense.
Wait, so is the taxi cab driver, is he the guy? Is he the WERETURKEY?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Well, how did the tree fall?
He has it rigged, like I said.
Okay, yeah.
He has certain things. When he's made the town think, well, he is the WERETURKEY, right? But he makes the town think that he's the hero.
Yeah.
To manipulate them. So that there's a constant battle. No one will ever kill the WERETURKEY, and no one will ever kill the hunter, but its own story that he thrives off of.
Yeah. I think the town should know that he's the WERETURKEY. No, because that's why that's why they're like so like they stay so secluded. Like they don't ever talk to like newcomers or like tourists or anything. Like they just stay very isolated because the WERETURKEY he like has them under his wing, literally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's like he like threatened all of them. He's like the only reason you're alive is because I'm not hungry. I'm just kidding. No. He thrives off like innocence. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants, or like being unexpected. Like that. Like that's how he gets off or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not stupid, but
No, that's basically what I was saying.
But no, I do think that like he has like threatened the town to a point to where
He's
they
fueled
stay
off
quiet.
of fear.
Yeah, he's fueled off of fear, and like they do fear him, but like we don't really know like the biology behind this. So maybe this is like not like a cult, but basically like he has fornicated with certain women that come, and like these are his children down below.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
so he uses the town.
Is basically like maybe it's just as simple as like he captured these people and they're just like a decoy basically to lure people in.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be it.
Or he could be worshipped as a god.
He could be worshipped.
It could be like a paganistic,
bunch of pagans. Yeah,
a bunch of pagans. Everyone who lives there has started to worship him because he has
WERETURKEY.
He has like supernatural. Like they think. Okay, let's just even go deeper. Okay, this WERETURKEY, he can like control the seasons, and he provides the people with like good seasons, good food, health, no sickness, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For their support and worship towards him. And he survives off of sacrifices, and the people of the town lead those newcomers and people like that to be sacrificed to him through his manipulation.
Okay. So I think like they should have like a certain amount of time like in the town to where people kind of like steer them in certain directions to where they can like kind of like, or they're directed towards the WERETURKEY, and so he can. They're basically sacrifices, but they don't like capture them and deliver like.
No, they just do it manipulatively.
They're just like, hey, have you heard of this like really cool tourist attraction up on top of the mountain?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
But again, it's not like they're necessarily shutoffs. They're more just you can tell something's up with them instead.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So just to reiterate, these townspeople are basically worship WERETURKEY because he's a pagan god, and he delivers them gifts in exchange for their sacrifices.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. So that's cool. All right.
Okay, so these, and like also the kind of the job of the town is to try to attract people from the outside. So like, you know, like put like online ads and like specials and stuff like that. And like they have like an inn in the town and all that type of stuff. Like they provide like hospitality and like marketing basically to bring people in.
Yeah.
Okay. So where should we begin this film? Like where do we cut in?
The way that I imagine it is more of like, okay, let's cut in where...
I think we kind of need to have a scene, sort of like the beginning of Get Out, to kind of like maybe them in the apartment, like packing or something like that. Yeah,
that's what I was...
Like
to kind of...
They're like on the plane.
That's how
like,
I managed.
Flying there, or like they're in the car driving to...
Yeah, and maybe that, like the WERETURKEY, maybe he could like pick them up at like their house. So like from the get-go, like no one expects, like maybe he drives like all the way into this inner city or whatever, and like picks them up at their apartment, acts like a taxi cab driver. But yeah, I do think we need to have that first scene that kind of establishes their relationship and like kind of gives us who these two characters are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you have them really early in the film, no one suspects him to be the WERETURKEY.
Exactly. And he could also he could kind of be like the perceived like town, like the guy in the town that kind of does it all. So he's like the taxi cab driver that brings them back, and he can also be like a tour guide. So basically anything with like traveling or stuff like that. But he's actually the WERETURKEY.
Right.
But that's kind of his perceived role in the town.
Yeah.
So that's why he picks him up and also takes him on a tour guide, like as a tourist. But I think it should be like every single interaction that they have like in the town is pure manipulation. But you don't realize that at the time. But then at the climax or whenever, you realize that everything that happened, or almost everything that happened, was pure manipulation to get them to the spot that they're at now. Maybe they should meet like another couple. Or maybe a family.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say that, like, there could be this one woman, right? and she could be in town kind of knocking, that you kind of see her like knocking on doors or something, and she has like a lost poster. And she's looking for either her mom or something, some family friend that went missing in the area. And then, like, she's, like, putting up posters, but you can kind of see how the townspeople aren't okay with it in a way.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, they, like, knock on their door. They're in, like, their hotel room or whatever. And they're unpacking, like, settling in. And they look outside and they see, like, a lady stapling something, like a sheet of paper on, like, a telephone pole or something. And they see her walking, and then they see her walk off. And then we play through the scene for, like, 3 minutes or whatever. And then all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and it's the same lady. She's like, hey, have you seen this? And they're like, have you seen this, like, this man or this woman or this child, whoever? And they're like, oh, no, we just actually got here. But, you know, if you need anything or if you need help looking, just please call us. And she's like, okay, I mean, like, and then she just, like, goes on. And maybe they do just, like, decide to go help her. I don't know. But the point is, like, they look back out, like, a few minutes later, and, like, there's someone, like, taking the sheet of paper, like, off the pole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What if she's reintroduced back later into the script?
She could do that, yeah.
Like, but she's the one who's helpless. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. Like, somehow the town, like, they capture her, and then they send her out into the woods before they do the couple.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, what if she comes back a little bit after they had met her, and you see the townspeople manipulate her. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, I did see that guy. She's like, oh, you did? Oh. Where is he? And he's like, oh, yeah, he went up, you know, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he went somewhere. Or actually, you know what? I saw her with a woman. He's like, he was with a woman? It's like, yeah, they stayed at room, blah, 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 at the hotel. I know that I saw him go out to, like, the driving range a couple times at night. Like, this day, this time.
Yeah.
So she thinks that her husband's, like...
cheating on her.
Oh, yeah,
cheating on her.
okay. It could be, like, when she says, like, okay, when she knocks on the door to tell this couple that, she's like, she's saying all this stuff about her husband. She's like, he's been missing, and honestly, this, like, ever since I got here, the town's been really weird. But as she starts to talk about, like, someone comes up, and she's like, excuse me, ma'am, I just saw your flyer. I actually saw this guy. Then he gives a whole spill about what you just said, like driving range or whatever. And then she's like, oh, and then he's like, oh, okay, yeah. He's like, yeah, just follow me. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then she turns back to the couple. She's like, here, let's say it was nice to meet you. She's like, can you guys call me, like, maybe later tonight? Like, she, like, either leaves her number or something, or maybe they ask for her number. They're like, okay, well, can we get your number just so if we do find him or whatever? She's like, oh, yeah, and they get their number. And then, like, maybe they call later and, like, she doesn't respond. Like, maybe like, we just kind of use this lady as a suspense device.
Dude, what if they're out in the middle of the woods and they find her? They find the body of the guy. And then they find the body of the guy. Wait, what if they find the body of the guy? Then they call her and they hear her phone ringing near them. Yes. And then they find her body. Dude, yes.
We all thought of that.
I had to look straight from Ethan and I was like, both me and you had the idea. And then I look over and you're like,
okay, that's a good gag right there. Yeah. That's a good gag.
So later in the film, once crap is going down, they find the body of the dude, try to call her, hear her phone ringing in the woods near the other body, find her body.
Yeah. So basically,
and they know they're screwed.
Yeah. That situation is basically a suspense device, and then when they're already kind of getting it, like when they find out the WERETURKEY is a thing and they're running from the WERETURKEY, like in the pursuit, that's basically at the point of the story where they know they are screwed and crap is serious.
As soon as they find her body, you just hear in the distance just. It's just like a feather flies down from the tree above them. And they're like, like have to run.
It's gonna be like a and like with a howl combined. So it's like, or maybe like since like this WERETURKEY kind of seems like a demigod. Maybe like it's like one of those things where like they hear that and they look up and then they see them like flying over the head. And he like blocks out the moonlight, so it's just. It's just like flying overhead.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I was about to wait, what if there's one person in the town who's sketchy? Mm-hmm. Like there's one person in the town who's like not with everyone else. Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to like kind of warn them. So they like leave feathers at their front doorstep of the hotel or something like that. No.
I mean maybe it's just something like okay, they go to dinner one night or something. Because we have to have some time elapsed before, like, by the time they get to the town, maybe they have, like, a day to spend, like, in the town before he's actually going to propose. So they have time to spend together. Maybe they go to, like, a restaurant at night or something, and maybe the waitress or the waiter, like, is trying to, like, kind of give them signs or, like, says something, like, kind of, like, odd or, like, off, like, super... Like, it's just, like, unexpectedly and out of nowhere.
What if
that
the
kind
restaurant
of, like,
was turkey-themed?
You can't do that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
I mean, no, he's part turkey. You're eating his people. It should be like chickens.
No, I was saying like the whole like no, I wasn't saying like it's turkey themed. I was like not like everything you eat is turkey.
Oh, okay.
But like everything around is decorated like turkey, and they don't even have turkey on the menu.
He's just like, I was about to say, he'd be like, cannibals!
Yeah, no, I do like the idea of a secondary role playing character that's just like, you know, not in with the group and kind of knows what's going on, but
It's trying to kind of help them.
Yeah.
Like, trying to give them clues without giving themselves away.
Yeah.
Because they know if they give themselves away, they'll get caught.
Yeah.
All right, super quick. Let's flesh out our two main characters. Names. Braden, give us a guy's name.
Chad. I'm just kidding.
Could be Chad. All right,
let's do
Chad.
Chad.
What's his last name?
Chad
Stoudemire.
Stoudemire.
Chad Stoudemire.
So
Okay.
what's the girl's name?
Lizzie.
Okay.
Crenshaw.
Okay, Lizzie Crenshaw. Okay, so we got Lizzie Crenshaw and Chad Stoudemire. All right. Lizzie and Chad, power couple, 2018. Instagram fame.
We met at a frat party.
Okay, so they're college students. All right, so did they meet at the university?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the college sweethearts? Maybe he's been...
Sure.
Yeah. Like,
Okay, let's say that they're like
they like met
They're like
freshman
20.
year. Yeah.
20?
right.
Okay.
They
so they're young.
they pretty
No, let's make them over 21 at least.
well, I'm just saying because I want them. Okay, let's not have them meet at the beginning of college. Let's say they've been in college for a while, but they haven't known each other for super long.
Okay.
But it's like love at first sight. Like they know they really love each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super powerful connection. Because, you know, when the love is strong and you haven't known each other for too long, that makes it even more of a connection. So it's just like,
Oh, what if it's like high school sweethearts? Not even college sweethearts.
Okay.
Like high school sweethearts.
How about Chad's parents died when he was a teenager?
Okay.
Right? So he's had to kind of blaze his own path like through life, right? And he's like maybe some like grandparent or uncle has kind of raised him, but he did like but his grandparents have told him from a young age like, "Oh, your dad proposed to your mom here like at this certain spot 20 years ago." So he's known for a long time that he wants to propose to the girl he falls in love with at this specific spot. So this is special to him, and he kind of wants to do it just in honor of his dad, like how his dad do it. Because from what he remembers of his parents, they were great, and his dad is a huge inspiration for him. And
his dad died. His parents died.
at this mountain. But
No, I'm
what do you
just
want
saying,
to?
like-
Oh,
What if the WERETURKEY killed them?
I mean maybe, but I don't know why you'd want to go back to the mountain where
Well,
his
they-
dad
like,
died.
What if
No.
he like proposed to her, and then
But this
he
is-
never found out how his dad died, but she was pregnant with him, and then she died of childbirth.
Or they just got married
they-
or they got married after he was born. Proposed after he was born. People do that too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that would be so funny if like the WERETURKEY had killed his dad
It's a
too.
generational thing.
Yeah, that sounds like what? Then that would get way too complicated because then you'd be like, okay, why is he attacking this generation, this whole bloodline, and that's the
Or
only.
maybe okay. We get all right.
We're going too far.
Okay, well, let's just say that. So maybe they just died in a car accident. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't. Maybe it wasn't tied in with the WERETURKEY. It's just an unfortunate thing that happened, but that's basically why Chad is dead set on proposing to Lizzie at this spot. All right,
Yep.
let's go with that. Okay, and Lizzie, she volleyball star. She's kind of the opposite. Her parents have always been around, but she doesn't like her parents. You know what I'm saying? So that's always kind of been like a weird dynamic. Chad doesn't have parents, and she doesn't like her parents, or something like that. Maybe, and that's kind of what prompted her to get married at a young age.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
get away from
she's
it.
kind of like she's sort of the rebellious type in a sense, and sort of rebellious and independent.
So, like, are we gonna have? What would it be? Would it be like both of them are equally as protagonistic as the other one, or is it gonna be like one's more of a protagonist than the other one? Like the main character, or are they just gonna share the spotlight equally?
I think they should both be our main character because we're following both of them through the journey.
Right.
So we have two main characters, Chad and Lizzie. They're going on a quote-unquote vacation to this mysterious town / resort that's kind of dwindling, fading away, but
It's sentimental.
But yes, it's sentimental to him, and he is dead set on going to propose to her. So they get picked up in a cab by this man, and this kind of like, he's kind of this like grungy, kind of like, he's got like a beard, and maybe like smoking a cigarette, and like he's kind of like just like this rough guy, you know what I'm saying? And so they kind of pick him up in the cab, and he's very quiet, stays to himself, but so they go on this cab ride, and when they get close to the town, we have that incident where the tree flies through, and he has all these like cues and gadgets that kind of like manipulate the surroundings of like that, like the surroundings and like these things that happen to them, and you know things start to get weird. So they go to, and then they get to the town, and weird things also happen there, and they meet this lady who has a missing husband, and she comes to the door. And she's like, "Oh, have you seen my husband?" Like, wow, blah blah blah. And and she's like, "Oh, this town's like really weird. Like something weird's going on." And then this like weird guy with like sunglasses and a tux, some like not really, but he's just like this guy. He's like he could kind of be weird. He could be like completely bald maybe, and just like he's just like something's like a little off about him. Not saying bald people are off. I'm just saying. And he's like, "Oh, ma'am, I actually know exactly where your husband is. Follow me." And she's like, "Oh, yay!" And then they're like, "Hey, can we get your number before you leave, just in case we do see him or whatever? We would love to help. Like, I'm so sorry this is happening." She's like, "Oh, yeah." So then they get the number, and then they spend their day throughout the town. And that night they go have dinner, and they sit down at this like dinner place, and you know we character development and you know all this stuff. They're having a nice time, but then this waitress, Amy, this weird waitress Amy, she's kind of been almost like robot. Everything she's saying is almost like scripted, and you can kind of tell, like there's like certain shots that reveal that people at the bar are just kind of watching her, like the bartender and like maybe the manager just kind of like watching her like extra closely. And at the very end or something, she's just like, "Okay, you guys have a nice day, get out," or something like that. She says something like under her breath, or maybe she like writes something on a napkin that kind of like gives them, it's a kind of a throwing caution to the wind, saying, you know, get out of here. Because maybe she doesn't agree. Maybe she was raised up in this cult and does not agree with what's going on, but it doesn't matter. She's just off. And so what happens after that?
Okay, so they're going to take, I mean, they already saw a tree get swamped across the road, right? I think that at this point, that sketchy waiter, Amy, should really throw off the bride to be.
Yeah.
And she should be flipping out.
Yeah, and the bride to be is wanting to kind of go home after
Yeah,
this.
like let's just leave. Like it's okay. We can just spend the vacation at my house. We can just have, you know, I just don't feel comfortable. But this guy, he doesn't want to do that. He's going to propose, okay? This is his plan. This is his sentimental value. This is why he's here. He has to do this. Mm-hmm. And so he's consistent, and he's like, "No, we can't do this. Like I have, you know, we still haven't done all the stuff that I want to do, and you know, we've got stuff to do. I have big plans and all that."
Yeah, and he finally convinces her, okay. She's like, "Fine, but like, let's just go up there tonight and leave tomorrow." Because maybe he was gonna do it like the day after, like the night after.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Okay, no, we need to do it like tonight." And he's like, "Fine." And then so they maybe like ask somebody like in the restaurant or whatever, like, "Hey, where can we get a guide to like take us up the mountain or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh, we'll just call Steve." And Steve is WERETURKEY. Or like, maybe let's call Turk. His name's Turk. Oh, we'll just call Turk. And then they're like, "No," because we needed a twist ending. So maybe like, what's turkey backwards? Yeckert. Not really.
Yeckert.
All right, we'll just call him
Bob. No. See, okay, a WERETURKEY.
Chandler.
Let's think of what about like a name that's like kind of scary, but it's also ridiculous. Like Van Helsing. But like modern.
Just call him Winston.
Okay.
Yeah, Winston.
All right.
Kind of
Winston.
masculine.
So she's like, yeah, we'll call Winston. Like, as soon as he says, we'll call Winston, you say, outside, it's just like a taxi, and he just like kicks open the door. He's like, "You guys ready to take a hike?" And then,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay, sure." So they get in there, and he's like, "We're about to go off the beaten path." So he kind of like drives them off like a beaten path until like they get to like a mud spot, and he's like, "All right, we're walking from here." And so they takes them up this mountain, right? And what happens on this mountain?
Okay, so is Winston the same guy that brought him to the Big Daddy, to the town?
I think
Okay.
so.
So he could be like, since they already experienced him in the tree and all that, the dude, clearly they need protection, right? So
Yeah,
guy could just already get out with a rifle.
yeah,
Just be like, don't worry, nothing's gonna happen. I know what I'm doing. I'll be here the whole time. And they're kind of like trying to get distance from him at the same time. But he, again, you said on foot, right? After a certain point?
yeah, on foot.
Okay. So he could take them on foot, and then the husband-to-be could be trying to get that alone. He's like, look, he could kind of like hang back with him and be like, look, I'm trying to propose. You know what I'm saying? So like, back off.
Yeah.
And dude's like, you don't want to do that. You need me. He's like, no, dude, you need me.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to get married.
He's like, no, you don't want to do that. He's like, no, I know it's dangerous out here. No, you don't understand. Grabs him. You don't want to get married. He's like, what are you talking about? Trust me.
Trust me.
What I had like an idea a few minutes ago when we were talking about the waitress. Mm-hmm. What if Lizzie is like pregnant? Like, what if she's pregnant, but she's not like too pregnant, but
what
she's
if he doesn't
pregnant
know?
enough to notice? No,
Yeah, like what if Chad doesn't know?
No, what if Chad doesn't know?
Yeah.
No, well, like, here's where I'm going with this. Like, what if she's pregnant enough to know this, so the waitress sees that, to make it more eerie, she's like, oh, how far
Even
along
better.
were you? And she's like,
Even better.
are you sure you're gonna be there for the baby and stuff like that? Like, yeah, why? It's
Well,
like,
I like that. Okay, at this point, okay, back up to where you were saying that. I love that. Let's do it where Chad's in the bathroom. Okay, before Chad goes to the bathroom, she notices something that only women know that women experience when they're pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. And then she's like,
Maybe she like.
Are you pregnant?
Like, why? I'm not a woman. But like, don't
Meat.
women like? Huh?
raw meat. They don't like cooking meat. They don't
Yeah.
like the smell of it.
They don't.
Makes
Okay,
them
and we can
nauseous.
like in the very beginning scene, we can establish like maybe she takes a pregnancy test or something.
sees a test.
Start. It's like her like in the bathroom, and it's like completely quiet. You just hear the ambience of the bathroom, and like she pisses on the stick, right? And like we just established that, okay?
Right.
And then she walks out, and it's like we all know from the very beginning that she is pregnant, and Chad doesn't know, but we pushed that to the side, and we kind of forget about that. But we need to bring that back later. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So like fast forward up into the restaurant, the waitress notices, and then she starts like mentioning stuff about like, are you sure you're gonna be there for the baby? Like think of like the eeriest thing that like someone can say to a pregnant woman that's like,
Yeah, just
you're
like
not gonna be here for long. Like, you know, like I don't know.
just like you want to bring that baby up on the mountain or something. You know, it's like you don't. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not far along. Like I can still hike. I can walk. She's like, I don't think you want to bring the baby up there. And then she's like, but I mean, it's fine. She's like, ma'am, you don't want to bring the baby up there. And then like Chad walks up, he's like, what up?
He's like, Delta Sight?
He's like, what are you girls talking about? And he's like, oh, nothing. Like looks at her with the eyes, so now she knows. Okay, he doesn't know. Or she could explain that. She's like, yeah, he doesn't know. And he's like, oh well, and then that gets into that. But then he comes back, and then she's like, and then they talk, and then she's trying to cover up what they were talking about, and then
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, what if the very end, like, Lizzie has already walked out and Chad's about to walk out, and the waitress, like, he forgot his like wallet or he forgot his keys, and she like grabs him and she's like, don't go up on the mountain if you want to be there for your child. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then like she's someone in the back calls her name like super angrily, like she's done something. She's like, I have to go, and like runs.
So
and
you're
then
saying
he's like confused.
So
we have that drama of she knows she's having a baby, but she doesn't think Chad knows. And then Chad knows that she's having a baby, but he's debating on whether or not to tell her.
Yeah.
So we kind of have that like thing, like but like that like little like static between
what is
them.
that?
Something real quick about the WERETURKEY. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, like he gets out like and like puts a silver bullet in, but that doesn't really make sense considering that he is a werewolf. Like, why would he have his own thing? But maybe like he kind of poses as like this kind of like weird like conspiracy guy, like you know like there's some weird things going on. Like maybe he like straight up tells them like from the beginning, like to make it seem like he's crazy. So like they're just like brush off everything he says, like because I've heard of werewolves, and they're like, yeah, and they're like, well, I've seen him. Like he goes on these stories like how he's like killed werewolves and stuff. But again, he's the WERETURKEY. Yeah. So basically, he just like they basically like to talk up himself. Like he is like so egotistical that he likes to talk himself up, and he likes to give the illusion that these things actually exist because he feeds off the doubt.
But then he gets both. He gets both of the hype ups.
Yeah,
because he's like, WERETURKEYs or werewolves are so hard to take down. They're so vicious and strong, and they lust for blood. But then he's like, but I'm stronger, and I will take them down. I've killed so many. That way it's kind of like, but when he says I've killed so many, he doesn't say I've killed so many werewolves. He said I've killed so many.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like if you really pay attention, he's saying I've killed so many people. So, not werewolves, people.
So basically the WERETURKEY himself basically gives away like the origin, like the things about the WERETURKEY just because he's loves talking about stuff. He loves like building himself up, and that's why like he goes with the thing with the silver bullet. But what I'm getting at is at the end, maybe the WERETURKEY doesn't win. Maybe he falls on his own sword.
Yes, I just thought that when you said that.
Yeah.
When you said silver bullet, I was like, oh my goodness.
So maybe Chad or maybe Lizzie comes in with the freaking silver bullet headshot, 360 no scope bullet headshot.
Dude, that's good.
That is good.
Because like screw the WERETURKEY, dude. I don't want him to kill Lizzie and Chad. Like he needs to die.
He doesn't.
He needs to fall on his own sword and die.
Exactly.
Okay.
Justice.
What if Chad dies?
I thought about that, but then I was like, oh, that's really sad.
I know, yeah.
I mean, it depends. It's just
you know what'd be even worse? Maybe what if we scratch the thing where Chad finds out that he's having a kid, so only the audiences know that Lizzie's having a kid, then she dies.
Oh, and he never knew.
He never knew, dude. That
would be depressing.
Or if he died, that way the kid doesn't have to die, but he still never knew, even when he died.
Yeah, he didn't even know that he was going to.
Either way, whoever dies, he wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say at first. Was that
or
Chad
we could
dies.
even play on that and just have this super emotional scene where he's dying. She reveals it. What is it?
No, what is it?
It fizzled.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I know what I was going to say, but like I was going to say, like she... Screw it. Scratch it. Doesn't make sense. All right. Okay. So, the WERETURKEY, he leads them up this mountain. All right. So, do we need to fill in what happens as they're climbing the mountain? Maybe... Okay, how about we can do this gag where, like, he kind of disappears for a minute. So, that kind of gives us, like, our scare.
Yeah.
Like, our, like, kind of the... Like
rustling in the background, he goes chasing after it.
Yeah, he's like, you guys stay here now. Yeah. Oh, he's like, you guys stay here. I'm gonna go check what this is. It's the WERETURKEY. I know it. I feel it. I sense it. So he's like,
I can smell the giblets it drops.
So he disappears or whatever, and then but he ends up coming back, and then he leads them to the top. And I don't actually know what happens once they get on the mountain.
I was gonna say, like, again, like he's like, look, I need space. I'm trying to propose. He's like, I'm not letting you propose. And that's when I was gonna say, introduce, like, he sets up his own kind of thing to make noises, and they use him attacking the WERETURKEY to get away from him, but he was using that to get away from them so that he could turn into the WERETURKEY and kill them. So they run. They think that they lost him, so that he can finally propose. He tries to propose. He gets down on one knee, and it gets ruined by the dead body.
Oh, he slips. He falls over the body.
Or
he trips over it.
He could, like, be getting down on one knee, and then she can, like, look up and just yell out a scream, like, ah!
Yeah.
And then, like, there's the picture that the dude who's in the picture of the poster is, like, hanging mutilated from the tree behind Chad. Mm-hmm. Just, like, sticks driven through his body, like, pinning him up against this tree, and he's just mutilated.
He's completely
I've got an idea. Okay. So when they're climbing the mountain, we do the thing where
He's like, I know it's a WERETURKEY. I got it. But before that, he kind of sets up, I've set traps all over these woods. The WERETURKEY, the WERETURKEY takes one step. He's a goner. I'm going to get him. I'm going to make CNN news. And so whatever. And then so he like hears the WERETURKEY or whatever. He's like, I'm going to go off. You guys stay here. So then he like, you hear him like going through the woods or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're, like a ghastly scream, and they're like, oh shoot. So her and Chad like run towards it, and they look, and he fell in one of his own traps, and like the guy's body is just dead, and they're like, holy crap. But then I don't know why he would continue to go up there and try to propose to her. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. But what I was gonna say is like, then they go up there, but then he just like returns as the WERETURKEY. But I don't know why he would.
Maybe they find the body and then they see the WERETURKEY. They hear like some of the traps going off and the WERETURKEY's coming.
Yeah, or like he could go off and then he uses that time to go up to the top of the mountain and actually propose to her. She's like, stay here.
Yeah.
And so then as he like is about to bend down, then he hears the ghastly screams, and then he goes, and then like that kind of goes in the downward spiral. Like, oh, they think he's dead. Then they think they're alone in the woods. Then the WERETURKEY comes.
They're running from the WERETURKEY, stumble across the guy's body, mutilated, and then they're like, well, we have nobody to call. Mm-hmm. We do have somebody to call. The only person that's closest, it's that girl. We found her husband, so that sparked the idea, okay, here's her husband, what the hell's going on? Now I've got to talk to her, see if she can come and pick us up, right? So they call her. Mm-hmm. And then they hear the phone ringing in the woods, and then now they know they're screwed.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That's just utter, like, oh, we're doomed.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, now we have to figure out...
What if after that, he dies by his own traps? So he dies by his own traps, and then, like, he's, like, set up in a trap. And then,
traps can't kill a WERETURKEY, dude.
That's what I'm saying. They don't know that he's the... Oh! So, like, he, like, basically just, like, say he gets impaled or something... They're freaking out and everything, and then he just kind of takes it out, and then he takes his form.
Dude, this is kind of dark, but instead of like him falling into a trap, what if he just like hung himself? And they're like, what in the actual heck is going on? So for him to transform into his WERETURKEY like self, he has to like kill himself. Or whatever. Yeah. And then he like and then and then he possesses the people from the town. So basically they're like vessels. The people in the vessels, he's like harvesting vessels in the town. So this guy who died was just a vessel. So he could carry on through his humanistic form. And so every time he transforms into the WERETURKEY, he kills himself.
Like the WERETURKEY is like
and then when you get chosen to be the next vessel.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
so that's another reason that like if you get chosen, like you're chosen.
Yeah, you're just
to be the
waiting
vessel.
to get chosen to be the vessel. So, but then, okay, that guy kills himself, right? And so they see that and they're like, holy crap. Then the whole downward spiral with the WERETURKEY starts coming. The WERETURKEY starts coming after them. And then...
Everyone who gets caught by the WERETURKEY becomes a vessel.
Yes.
And they become a townspeople person. And then it's their turn for the sacrifice.
How do we reveal that? That's the only thing.
That's the way that... okay, so obviously the WERETURKEY has to die. Mm-hmm. The next vessel's chosen. Mm-hmm. And then the next vessel's chosen.
Well, as he dies, his human form, he turns into his WERETURKEY form. And then after he completes his sacrificial, he can only absorb sacrifices in his WERETURKEY form. So he has to go back into another human form of the townspeople.
We could do...
That's the issue, though. What he's saying is, like, how do we reveal that in the film?
Yeah.
You just see someone get chosen.
Well, you don't see it until after the sacrifices are done and the WERETURKEY dies before they are done. That's the deal. That's the issue we're having. Because it's like...
I was going to say, like, you see someone, like, they know they get chosen, but there's no way that you can, like, obviously tell, so they just go outside and they hang themselves. And then you see them transform.
Okay. No, this is kind of dark.
I know, we're going.
No. I like this idea. If we can just figure out how to reveal it.
Yeah.
Maybe... Okay, I mean, the only thing I can think of is like it doesn't really make sense at the time. Like the guy hangs himself, so maybe the audience perceives like, okay, he saw the WERETURKEY, and maybe something happened where like that guy like made him hang himself. So we don't actually know like as the WERETURKEY is chasing him that guy was the WERETURKEY. But we reveal like the very end or something like that. Like
it could be like the class.
Or maybe it could just be one of those things where they stumble upon his cabin, right? And then like maybe the lore, maybe they're like able to like we throw in some like exposition lore or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they read this like thing like maybe they read the lore that this guy like wrote out or whatever, And so we like, but then anyways, again, but the WERETURKEY only has like one night to like consume these sacrifices, and they survive somehow. But what if at the end, Lizzie or Chad becomes one of the vessels? Ooh. Nah, I don't think we should do that. Or it could just be, or maybe he could explain this on the taxi ride. You see what I'm saying?
He like the
But he couldn't
story.
go into like vessels and the.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I thought of that and I was like, but then he can't talk.
No, I think we should. I think we should do that. He does fall on his own sword, and they kill him during this night.
Yeah.
How would he fall on his own sword though?
Okay, well we
The silver bullet.
technically don't have to do the vessel thing, but it just does. There's holes in it. There's a lot of holes in that.
There's no way that we can really like. I can't think of a single way that we can reveal that really, which is a great idea, and I really want to make that work, but like that's kind of.
Give me like 10 minutes.
The clock's ticking. Time's almost up. It's got to be close.
Okay, so you know how the dude is like obsessed with creatures,
Yes.
right? Let's say that, we've already come up with the idea that the vessels are used, and the townspeople are all vessels that worship the pagan god. Well, this guy...
Potential vessels.
Yeah, potential vessels. They can be chosen at any time. They lure people in so that he can kill them, the WERETURKEY, and so that they get blessed with all these other things. But the ultimate goal to these people is to become the vessel. Because they're promised like eternal synchronization with the WERETURKEY of blessings and bliss, right?
Yeah.
So this guy actually was a werewolf hunter, but he found the ultimate thing to hunt. But instead of hunting it, he thought it would be better to become it. And he was chosen as a vessel once he joins.
So he became a part of the town.
So he's finally, he becomes part of the town after he reads up on the lore. He becomes part of the town. He's finally the vessel. He's finally the chosen vessel for the next sacrifice. So instead of hanging himself, when they hear him scream, he's baited it to where he's going to have a slow death. And while he's doing it, he's egotistical. He doesn't want to just go out completely right then. He wants to explain what's going on even more. So that's how we can lead to it. And I'm not saying to explain the whole thing, but him being like, them coming out after the scream and like, let's say he's like pinned up against a tree with a dagger in him. They're like, what's going on? What happened? What's going on? And he's like, he starts laughing and he's like, come and take your form, your next vessel, and all that stuff. He's like, and let the next chosen one be blessed to do as good as I have. Have I pleased you?
He like carves a symbol in his body.
It's a turkey. Carves a turkey.
Yeah, so it's like this really creepy, but he's obviously nigh on to death. And as he dies, he kind of gives away that information that the next vessel and the townspeople, and that's he kind of releases that in the dialogue with them, telling them you're stupid and I manipulated you and now I can be the WERETURKEY, basically.
Yeah.
And when that happens, he starts, as he dies, he reanimates and morphs into the WERETURKEY through his death.
Okay, I think when they should find him, he should this is just an option. If we wanted to end it on a cliffhanger. Because maybe he doesn't fall on his own sword, or maybe we think he falls on his own sword or whatever. But if we wanted it, I think he should maybe be naked when when they find him, or somewhere or in his skivvies or whatever. And he has a giant, not either a tattoo or a carving of wings on his back or something like that that represents it's symbolic of his possession. Okay, and so then just at the end, let's say that Lizzie and Chad escape or whatever, and somebody's okay, we'll take you back, or whatever, we'll take you back to your town, and he somehow lifts up his shirt their next taxi cab driver, and he has wings on his back or something like that.
Ooh,
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
They do escape the WERETURKEY.
Yeah.
So they think that they killed the WERETURKEY at the end of the night, and the audience does too. Yeah. They shoot him with the silver bullet or whatever at the very end, and think that they survive after all the traumatic everything, and then that's revealed at the end because it didn't kill him, because silver bullets don't kill WERETURKEYs. That was all fib. The dude hunted werewolves, but not WERETURKEYs. But he,
It's true. You have to have a gold and silver lace bullet.
Yes.
to kill a
Okay.
were-turkey.
Okay. Here's some created lore. You have to have a golden bullet, all right, with a carved cross in it that has been drenched in holy water to kill it, and an anti-pagan symbol, aka a cross.
So does Chad or Lizzie like kind of heroically like get the gun or whatever?
It could, and I was thinking another dynamic.
Oh. Got it. Maybe. We'll see. Okay. So what if the kind of the waitress, what if she's like not as creepy? What if she's like a little bit more genuine? Okay. And like maybe like Lizzie maybe starts having like cramps or like something's wrong with her. And then the waitress is like, ma'am, are you okay? She's like, yeah. I'm like, she's like, and then like somehow you somehow reveal that like Lizzie either like lets it slip that she's pregnant, or maybe the girl, again, she just kind of figures it out. And like, that's like, we reveal that she's pregnant, and then the waitress finds out that she's pregnant.
Could be morning sickness, like
Yeah,
you could vomit
something,
or something.
yeah, something like that. And so, but like we also reveal that this waitress is like an actual genuine chick. Okay, so maybe instead of like Chad like finding the guy's gun or whatever, maybe the waitress comes at like the last minute and is like kind of like heroically like shoots the were-turkey with a silver bullet or like whatever, and like he like explodes in the green goop and like, oh, the were-turkey's dead or whatever. And so, but then this gains like their trust, like with the waitress. And so like the waitress ends up being the girl who drives them back to the town, and she has the were-turkey wings.
That's a
You
good
see what
one.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So like he possessed the were-turkey, ended up like, because she's in the village.
Yeah.
But see, the waitress's like motivation for doing this, she's like, okay, this chick's pregnant. Like, I am part of this like occultist group, and my only destiny is to be possessed by a were-turkey. Like, what the heck is that? Like, that's no life. I'm gonna try to save this woman who like will have a potential life, and like maybe I can get out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been plotting like to get out of this. Like, maybe I don't know how in depth we can go in her character, like how in depth we want to show in her character, but
When she warned the wife,
yeah.
she could have been taken back with it carved into her. You're like, you're going out of here because you're causing problems with the plan, so we're going to make you the next vessel whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. And then she go try to save her, hoping that would also get her out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
As well.
Yeah, but yeah, and so like,
But then she has it in her back. Okay, because then we have to figure out, how do we know that it's... We have to figure out how to... It could like glow or something when they're about to turn into the were-turkey. Oh my gosh.
What?
Great idea.
What?
Holy crap. Okay. All right. So when he killed himself, the were-turkey symbol on the back started glowing, okay? It glows, and then he morphs into the were-turkey. Okay, we think that she kills him. We think that she kills the were-turkey. On the way back, driving them back, she gets him out of Dodge, right? They're driving back. They're all leaving that town. She's like, it's finally done. I'm leaving this town. I'm going to drop you off back where you live, okay? They get in a car wreck. Die on impact. She dies. She dies on impact. They get in a car wreck. They look up. She's like, the pregnancy is revealed. You know, he's like, I was going to propose all that information at some point, you know, because this is like nigh on to death. And they look up, and the back of like her shirt's ripped, and the back starts glowing.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's a good idea. That's awesome. That's a great idea.
that is a good idea.
I don't know why, because I was like, how are we going to make it revealed if, you know?
Well, where do the question is where do we go from there?
Well, I mean, I think it would just end, but
Yeah.
All right, just a pitch. I love that. Just another option. Flip it. Lizzie and Chad die on impact. She gets ejected from the car. Ooh. Right? But like, okay, maybe like they could be like making out in the back or something like that. And like all of a sudden, like we see this, but they don't. But like maybe like a deer kind of like is like walking in the middle of the road. Maybe she just like turns the wheel like slightly to where they hit it, but it's her fault that they hit that deer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like the deer like goes through, or like they crash, they flip or whatever. Chad and Lizzie die. She gets ejected, and like she stands up or whatever, like she got blood on her face, her legs broken, like whatever. And she like looks like, she looks towards like civilization, like the town kind of where Chad and Lizzie came from, like a normal life. And then she looks back towards the town, like where the were-turkey resides, and she turns around back towards the town. And as she's walking away, the wings glow on her back, as if the were-turkey did that. Like there will be no survivors that come. So you see what I'm saying?
So wait, you're saying that she purposefully wrecked?
Yes, because she's the
Consciously?
were-turkey. Yes, The waitress consciously wrecked into the deer because she
had already gotten possessed.
She had already gotten possessed.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
And then as she's walking away, that's when like they glow, or like maybe as she turns, like you can see it like glowing, or maybe it ripped her shirt.
Yeah.
And like you can see like the outline or like part of the outline of the wings or whatever.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So she turns back to the town?
She turns back to the town where like the WERETURKEY has always resided. Because basically it's almost like you can move forward because the audience is like, what's going to happen? Like, because they don't know that she's possessed yet. So like, either you can move forward into like regular civilization, like a regular life, or you can turn back to where the WERETURKEY resides. And when she turns back, that's when we see the wings, and then that reveals that she's the WERETURKEY, and like this isn't over.
Oh, what if she were
Sequel.
What if she were to go towards, instead of going back to the town that she came from, what if she went towards the town that it's like your future? Like she starts walking towards that, and that's when we see her back glow, and then we kind of like see her get closer and closer like to the town. Mm-hmm. It's like as soon as she gets close to the town, she gets hit by a car. And then, no, like something happens. Like she dies. She dies somehow. And then she becomes the WERETURKEY and she terrorizes this entire town.
I mean, I do see what you're saying. Maybe she could
like,
go like towards regular civilization, but I just kind of like it that like last
no
shot, like that last like
back.
wide shot of her just like walking towards it, and you see the wings glowing. And it's like this isn't over. Like this is gonna happen to other people too.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick,
All right.
I think we have it.
Okay.
But who wants to run through it one more time?
Let's do it. Quick summary of the film starting now. We got 10,
All right.
20 seconds to do it.
Ethan, run us through Act 1.
All right, Act 1. Woman on the pisser. All right, she pees on the baby thing. She pees on the, what does that call it? Pregnancy test.
Pregnancy test. Yeah.
She pees on the pregnancy test. It's positive, okay? So the whole time through the rest of the acts, you're keeping that in mind. They get picked up by the weird, scruffy nerf herder guy, Winston, who brings them to the town.
He picks them up and they take them to the town. He takes them to the town and where they get to the hotel.
Yeah, but before that, that's the thing with the tree, like you said.
Okay, yeah, hold on.
And that incident,
I just had to tie in a loophole that I just found. While she's doing the pregnancy test and getting ready, and she's like debating telling him, he's having a phone call with his grandmother who is saying, yeah, that displays the information about his dad proposing there, and that's why they're going there. Explain that information right off the bat, you know what's going on. Right. Okay. Then they get picked up by Winston. They go to the place, the thing flies out in front of them, all that crazy crap happens.
Yep. That's the end of Act 1.
Yep.
All right, now Act 2.
Act 2?
Yep.
They get to the hotel.
All right, Act 2, they get to the hotel. Lady comes up looking, you see the lady while they're talking to like the hotel manager or whatever. You see a lady in the background posting up post-its of lost person, right? It's her husband. And then after, some dialogue, some background character development, all sorts of stuff like that, lady comes to the door, proposes the poster and is like talking to him. And they're like, yeah, we've never seen him. Immediately, bald guy, weird, sketchy, comes up. It's like, oh yeah, I've seen him. I know. Gives into the illusion of, he was possibly cheating on her and all this stuff. She kind of freaks out. Well, yeah, if you find him, here's my number. Even if they don't find him with the bald, if she doesn't find him with the bald guy, right? So that kind of draws them as a weird kind of thing. So they end up going to dinner, right? They go to dinner, and then Chad goes to the bathroom. Waitress Amy comes up and talks to her, and figures out she's pregnant. Is like trying to give her clues on like, okay, don't bring the baby up there, all that. And you can kind of see that the waiting staff in the background is like staring at her, kind of paying attention to what she's saying. And then Chad comes back up after that she's pregnant is revealed to her, and then they go and start going out.
Well, no, they ask someone at the restaurant because basically she's like, okay, if we're gonna do it, like we need to do it tonight. Like, I feel bad, and then she goes to
establish the uncomfortableness of the bride to be, and then so he's like, okay, fine, we'll do it tonight. We need somebody, and then they're like, oh, we'll call Winston. Winston pulls up again.
Yep,
he comes up.
Yeah, that's the end of our Act 2.
Wait, does Chad
she
know or
gets
not?
in the car. She gets in the car, but he has to go and get his wallet.
Okay.
She gets in the car immediately. Goes and gets a wallet. Girl's like, are you sure you want to? If you go up there, you might not have. He confused.
She's being eerie and mysterious. And
and reveals that he's a father.
To warn him. Yeah.
Reveals that he's a father to him, but he now understands that she's pregnant. His bride to be is pregnant and hasn't told him, so he's confused about it. But he's about to propose and hasn't told her. There's all that.
We should have that waitress like in the background of like a lot of scenes when they get there.
Yeah.
She's been watching them, or maybe we even have like one shot of like when they arrive in the town, like maybe she's watching
in a
them.
window.
Yeah,
in a window, just kind
like,
of watching
add, like,
and
a little bit
away.
more. Yeah, exactly.
Just one shot.
It gives her character like a little bit more depth too.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all All right, continue.
Okay, so that's end of Act 2, right?
Yep.
So then Act 3 is when, now he's already kind of told a little bit of stories about his inquiries with the supernatural.
Right.
On the way up to the mountain, he's kind of driving up there and then gives a little more insight. They're trying to talk and ignore him, And then something happens. He goes, leaves the car. Y'all stay here. He's like, okay, I'm going to use this time to take you and go propose to you. So he gets out on foot, goes up there, up the mountain, and is about to propose to her. Gets down on one knee. They hear the scream. They rush to his rescue because they think he got hurt.
Okay, what? Oh, wait, did you just get to the place where they go up on top and propose?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the end of our Act 3.
Okay, yeah. Act 3, end of Act 3. Act 4.
Climax.
Dude screams, they run to him to his rescue, and then he reveals all the information about how he's a vessel, he was chosen.
Wait, what about the 2 bodies?
That comes in a minute, right?
Comes in a minute. So
because that's basically like after they find that out, like their last hope basically is like to call this woman, like try to call for help.
Oh, okay, okay.
So he gives all this dialogue because he's full of himself. He's like, I've hunted everything, and this is the thing that I wanted to be myself, and gives into the play that he's a vessel, he's chosen. Gives all that information out there. They see the thing carved in his back. He kills himself. Thing starts to glow. He starts to morph into a wereturkey. They run away. They run, and eventually they trip over a body, which is that guy's body, and they're like, who can we call? We need help. We're like, let's call the girl. Maybe she's still out here. Maybe she can pick us up and lead us to safety. They call the girl. They hear the phone ring. They go find the girl's body. They realize they're crap out of luck now. Then they have an altercation with the wereturkey. It almost kills them. I was thinking at this point, one of them could be caught in a foot trap, like a bear trap that he had set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, it tracks them down. They're trying to get away. It's really emotional. And then as it almost kills either one or both of them, Amy comes back to the rescue with the silver bullet that she gets from the car. We could even have a cutaway of her kind of grabbing it or something like that, and blows the wereturkey's brains out. Kind of falls to the ground, disintegrates.
Yes.
Right? Kind of like ashy. Kind of ash disintegrates.
End of Act 4.
Yep, end of Act 4. Act 5 is them kind of, relieved, we killed it, let's get out of here. She explains more of what she's been through, raised up in a cult.
So
that was a
to
pagan.
wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah. Is a pagan cult and all this, and now that it's dead, she can finally move on.
Maybe, I don't know if this makes sense. No, maybe all the townspeople, like when they get back, like they're gone. Mm-hmm. Like, because again, the townspeople like wouldn't act the same when they get back. So either they're gone. I was gonna say they were sick or something, but the wereturkey's not actually dead, so it doesn't matter. So maybe it's just kind of like a ghost town at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no people there. It's a ghost town. They book it through there.
Yeah.
Like, book it there. Maybe they go to their hotel, pick up their stuff, or maybe they just go straight home. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
But they're booking it out. Oh, it'd be crazy. Like, a scene of them flying through the city and, like, all the townspeople, like, standing in the middle of the thing.
Or they just come out of nowhere.
They're, like, chasing the car down. That would be pretty intense.
That would be intense.
Like a last intense kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that's like right as she's kind of explaining what's going on, kind of ties everything together about the vessels and the pagan god.
Well, maybe or maybe they're not chasing. Maybe they're just like have lined the city.
Like
on each side, and they're just like looking. Yeah. Like, because then they think like the townspeople are just like freaking insane. Like they're Lizzie and Chad, like they were thinking that they're just gone insane. Like their master have died or whatever. Since like Amy has explained this stuff, but it's actually because they're like paying respects to their god.
Yeah, because
Amy, but they don't know that. They don't know that.
Yeah,
and we don't know that either yet.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Then they get through the city, and then right at the last moment, everything seems like it's about to work out. Whatever.
They're about to drive off into the sunset. Everything's good.
And then deer runs out in the road, or she just swerves and hits a tree or whatever.
Something that's deliberate, but it's a little bit subtle.
Yep, very subtle, but it's still kind of like, what? And then ejects Amy. Those two die on impact, or just are non-responsive. You just don't really. That's like the end of the story for them.
Yeah.
And then you see her get up, absolutely obliterated by the wreck. Look towards civilization. Turn around back to old civilization.
Oh, what if when she turned back to the old civilization, all the townspeople were just standing there, like waiting for her to come back? Well, it'd probably be
really far away. Like it's representing back and forward. You know what I'm saying? It could be like maybe they didn't even die on impact. Mm-hmm. Maybe like you don't really even know, but she turns back at the car, even with the car, and towards back to the people, and just you see the back start to glow. Either way, it works.
Wait, say that one more time. Sorry.
Like, whether or not, either way, if she's looking back at the town or looking back at the car with them both in it, she's either going to get those sacrifices or, you know.
Yeah.
Because technically, she didn't get the sacrifices and
But
she
it's
didn't
not-
ingest the sacrifices until she's the WERETURKEY. So she's technically not in WERETURKEY form.
Yeah,
yet.
that's true. That's true.
All right.
Or maybe it's the when the WERETURKEY died, quote unquote. Maybe they consumed the already 2 dead people that were, and then they used them as sacrifices. And maybe Lizzie and Chad, maybe it's just like an egotistical type thing, like no one gets away from the WERETURKEY or something like that.
Yeah.
But either way, yes, he could consume them because it's not the full moon anymore, basically.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. So it's not basically his consuming hour. That's just what I'm getting at. But either way, at the very end, we reveal that Amy is now the vessel of the WERETURKEY.
Yep.
And sequel part 2. WERETURKEY number 2.
Next
All
week we
right.
do another podcast.
Just WERETURKEY part 2.
WERETURKEY part 2.
No, but there wouldn't need to be a sequel. Like that's
Coming
that's
to
one of those. It's just like it's leading.
Yeah.
It's leaving with an open question. Like, okay,
Like what happens?
not even just what
Next,
happens. You know what
really.
happens.
Yeah.
It's setting up the fact that nobody killed the WERETURKEY. The WERETURKEY's still there. The pagan cult's still there.
not a happy
It's still going to
ending.
keep happening.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's one of those that doesn't need
changed.
it doesn't need a sequel, but studio executives would definitely be like, we got to do a sequel. Yeah. And then ruin it.
Yeah, and then ruin it because
ruin it.
that's what they do to everything. When something is literally, because what are you going to do? Tell the same story twice? No, you're not going to tell the same story twice. You can't do that.
Yeah, no.
But they never leave it. Just leave it how it is in its pristine form. That's what it is.
Right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our story. That is the story of the
That's the
WERETURKEY.
story.
We
Fantastic.
Thank
Oh,
you
yeah,
for
very good.
having me on the podcast.
Well, thank you, Braden, and we hope to have you back on because
it was great to
you cracked that baby wide open.
Thank you.
Smacked that wide open.
It was great to be a host.
Some really good points,
It was,
though.
it was great to be a host on this podcast.
Host, you are a guest. Know your place.
No, but you did have some very, very, very genuinely good aspects to the story. So, fantastic work. Good
High
job,
five,
boys.
not loud.
High five, also not loud. Perfect.
Well, we hope you folks enjoyed this episode of The Next Blockbuster. Hope you join us next time where we crack some crazy stories. Don't know what's gonna happen, but just expect the unexpected when it comes
Always.
to listen to this. And hopefully we didn't waste all of your time. And depending on when you're listening to this, Merry Christmas. We've said that like 3 podcasts.
All right.
It's just
Happy New Year's for 2020.
yeah. That might be when you
Have
guys listen to
perfect
this.
vision in 2020. Knee slapper.
Cue outro now. This episode of the Underground Filmmaking Podcast. I'm your co-host Ethan Winslet, and this is your other co-host, Ariel Stein, and I'm your host, and that's your guest. Yes, Braden Miller.
Just kidding, guys. My name's Cole Johnson.
Yeah, and that's Cole Johnson.
I'm Ethan Winslet. No, wait.
Cue out.
Like always, you guys can find us on social media on YouTube on War Torn Productions or on Instagram at wartorn_productions. Or if you have any questions about anything you listen to in this podcast, look in the show notes. And we will see you guys next week for a super duper next level episode.
Sleep tight. Don't let the WERETURKEY bite.
If you let the WERETURKEY bite, it's gonna be like ASMR type stuff. It's gonna come and haunt you.
Worst sounding ASMR.